Hello, I'm Bishop John Selders, Amistad Church, Hartford, Connecticut. The theme for this year's World AIDS Day is leadership. And do we ever need the church to be a leader in the response to this worldwide pandemic? As a pastor and religious leader who has been working on HIV/AIDS prevention for over 25 years, and most recently here in the inner city of Hartford, and as an advocate with the Human Rights Campaign's Religion Council, I know the devastating toll this epidemic is taking on all of our communities. HIV/AIDS crisis statistics are staggering. 5,700 people die every day from this disease. 6,800 are infected daily with HIV, and over 2,900 of which are women 15 years of age and younger. My experience and years of experience fighting the spread of this disease and pastoring HIV/AIDS positive people and their families has taught me that the best way to address this epidemic is to start being honest about who we are and to make a welcome space for others to be honest about who they are as well. When churches start HIV/AIDS ministries as a community outreach service but perpetuate the download by not embracing their same gender-loving sisters and brothers in their pews, we are not serving our people. When white, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people are not equally incensed about the growing number of HIV/AIDS cases among poor, straight African-American women, we are not serving our people. When HIV/AIDS clinics deny treatment to transgender people like Maribel Reyes, who died needlessly this year, we are not serving our people. As well, when those of us in the United States refuse to see beyond our own backyard to how this epidemic is destroying entire countries, we are not serving our people. If ever there was a disease that asked us to start acting like Jesus by opening our hearts to all of our neighbors, this is it. The Jesus I know stretched forth his hands, offering a healing touch. But to get there, we first must be honest about who we are and about who's suffering in our own communities. It isn't just those who fit into some convenient demonized other category who are suffering. It is our own families, our brothers and sisters, our aunts and uncles, our cousins and grandchildren, our fathers, our mothers. 6 degrees of separation isn't necessary for most of us to find someone in our own lives living with HIV/AIDS. But when it comes time to be in community with these folk, some of us, and sadly many of us in the church, are ready to pile on unnecessary degrees of separation for those who need to hear from us the most. On this World AIDS Day, I call on all people of faith to step up and be leaders in the HIV/AIDS epidemic by becoming leaders and witnesses and advocates. This seems very daunting maybe, but if approached step by step, it can be done. The first step is to be authentic. If we are honest about our own sexuality and in the meantime make a space for others to be honest about who they are, we will have done an extraordinary thing. The most prevalent way HIV/AIDS is spread is through secrecy and shame. If all religious people stop being agents of the closet and start being agents of healing and honesty, I'm convinced we would make a mighty dent in the spread of HIV/AIDS. Secondly, leadership calls on us to be a witness by paying attention to those around us who may be suffering. This doesn't require us to take a trip to Uganda, of course, but it does mean we need to keep our hearts open to those who may be suffering in our own communities, by which I mean our churches, our schools, our barbershops, our beauty shops, our playgrounds, our workspaces and places, our grocery stores, our shelters, or even on the streets. Thirdly, we need to take the plunge and get involved politically. One way to do this is to consider putting pressure on your own legislator to demand that the Ryan White CARE Act be fully funded. This act provides access to life-saving treatment and care for more than 500,000 low-income Americans with HIV/AIDS. However, years of inadequate funding has stretched the program beyond its capacity to serve those infected. Thus, many states have been forced to institute cost containment measures such as waiting lists and capped drug formularies. Congress needs to hear from you about how critical it is to appropriate adequate resources to sustain this vital program. And finally, no matter what action you do today, Whether it's making a dinner for someone living with HIV/AIDS, or calling your member of Congress demanding that they fund the Ryan White Care Act, or marching in an international demonstration as a people who are religious, we need to constantly stretch our idea of who counts as our neighbor. After describing the daily ugliness that racism and poverty produces, James Baldwin, in The Fire Next Time, said this: "The question remains, what do we do with all this beauty? It is not the ugliness of the disease, but the beauty of the human connection that emerges from our work to end the spread of HIV/AIDS that will save us all in the end." God bless you.